Okay, this is my Screencast-O-Matic for assignment 1, looking at the different elements that a learner and a staff member can use on their VLE. First of all, I'm going to look at the functions and different little bits for a student. So first thing I'm going to look at is the announcements page. I'm going to choose the sport development coaching fitness unit that I have on here. Now this is my homepage. A student's homepage would look very, very similar, except for they wouldn't have so many courses on the right hand side. It's likely that they would only have maybe 3 or 4 courses if they were doing an A-level course, and if they were doing a BTEC course it would be their main BTEC and any ad quals that they may have, so it won't be so full. So let's go to this unit of learning. So as soon as you go on here, you can see straight away that there's an announcements page that pops up with important announcements to various students. The particular lecturer on this course obviously uses this quite a lot, just to gauge students' attention, to make sure that they know what's going on. So again, very, very positive outcomes, great benefits for students and staff alike, that it allows you to send out messages that are targeting a mass audience, and this audience is going to be anyone that's associated to that course. Okay, and a student would see it exactly how we see here, because we've got the edit mode off. The next thing that we'll look at is the course calendar. I like to think if you've got really organised students, that's going to create independent learners. So this particular tool can be used by students to make sure that they know the submission dates for all of their assignments. If you're doing a BTEC that's an extended diploma and you've got 23 odd assignments in a year, that's a very packed year. The workload is huge, especially with first submissions, second submissions and grade improvements. So it makes sense to have some kind of way of organising your life, and you can do it using this calendar. The next bit I'm going to look at is Safe Assign. There are 2 methods of submitting assignments. The one that I prefer to use at the moment, that may change, is Safe Assign, and the reason for that is just purely because it's got a plagiarism tool that allow me to see if students are copying each other or have used previous assignments from an individual from a year above that they've copied. So let's go to that. You'll find it again in this tools column, so Safe Assignment. And if we go to, actually what we'll do is we will go back and we'll go through how a student would do it. So they'll go to their particular course, they'll look at a unit resource, and we will look at a year 1 group and assessing risk. So the lecturers here have set up a Safe Assignment folder, and these are the only 2 active ones going at the moment. Debate, they should be kind of closed at the moment, so maybe they've left it running for a period of time for a particular reason. So this is what a student would see. Very, very easy. Click on clearly labelled which group it is, and then which assignment it is as well. All they do is click on and they can submit their assignments, and that's basically it. The next bit we're going to look at is the unit resources, so course pages. We'll go back to that same unit, which was assessing risk. So this is assessing risk. The lecturers here have put on 2 resources and front sheets. So the resource they've put on 2 prezzies to help students. The only thing I would say is that they haven't really made it really eye-catchy, really aesthetic. It's just a URL with a little link over here. That could be improved by taking away this little area here and showing the full Prezi. Okay, and if this page was structured properly, it could be eye-catching, it could be very engaging. Again, you're getting those independent learners in, they want to learn from this page, and that's going to affect your achievement, which will hopefully give you a lot of satisfaction if you are the lecturer. The next thing that I'm going to look at is the LRC. A lot of students really have no idea about the LRC, even the physical LRC, and this is a great way to access any information that you need. So this is what a student would see. A lot of my students, I really do get them to go to eBrary, eBooks, click on, and search for anything that they need. So students will have to log in. When they log in, they'll have access to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. So if I log in, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully it will let me log in. Come on. I do not want that password saved. Come on, eBrary, eBooks. Here we go. And I'll put in simply the respiratory system without the spelling mistake. And it will come up with a number of different books, and then I can further narrow down my search by clicking on the filters on the top. And there we go. A wealth of different books looking at respiratory system. A great source of knowledge for students, especially if they've done their first submission, the lecturer's given some feedback, they still don't understand it. Why not go to the books, bolster your knowledge, come back with the answer. Okay, we'll get rid of that. Go back to the home page. The next tool that I'm going to look at, and we'll go back onto the same thing, is looking at, let's see if this one's got one, discussion boards. Okay, there is a forum here, and there's 23 participants. Let's click on it. Okay, there we are. So discussion boards, a great way to create debate, to share knowledge, especially if there are generic problems with something. So if there's an assignment that's been given to a group of students and they've all had similar feedback, this would be a great way to kind of put out the question, someone that's actually achieved it, to share what they know with each other. So it's students learning from students, students talking to students, actually getting some ownership for their learning. Another great function, another great little bit of the VLE that we're using here, which is Blackboard. So those are my 6 areas that I have showed you for students. Now it's time to go to the staff page. So I'm going to turn on the edit mode, which gives me a few more options as an instructor. And the first thing I'm going to show you is the LRC. Now with the LRC, there is actually a staff page that's located over here. So if we click on that, and this gives you extra resources, obviously that staff can start to access to help them with their own lesson planning resources, any kind of research that they need to do to help in the classroom. Students cannot access this, so this is only a staff page. The next bit I'm going to look at is course level tools. So we will use that same unit of learning again, same BTEC, and it can be any unit of learning within that BTEC. So we're going to look at tools, and down here we have a wealth of tools that can be used for students. One of the big ones, I think, that can be used along with the announcements page is sending emails. So sending emails, we should have 2 groups set up on here. So I'm going to send emails to year 1A and 1B in the development coaching and fitness BTEC. Great way to send out mass emails or to have more intimate emails with individuals. It doesn't really matter, but the fact that it's all done from here is brilliant because it's easy to access, and then students can reply in the same fashion. Okay, so that's one of those tools on there, but again, many different tools. The next one I'm going to look at is the assessment. So if we go to a unit of learning, and we'll take something different this time rather than assessing risk, if we look at fitness training programming. If I wanted to, and I need to turn that edit mode back on, this edit mode allows all the benefits of an instructor being on the VLE, which means I can see everything that's happening. So students, as you notice here, will only have a limited view, where I have much more options where I can start to change things around. So if I was going to add an assessment, there are 2 types of assessments that I tend to use, which is safe assignment, which I mentioned before, where students can upload their assignments. It can be checked for plagiarism, so on and so forth, or you can upload assignments which allow you to submit multiple documents, and there's no limit on the size of the documents, which is brilliant if you're going to do some HND level assignments that require you to write quite lengthy documents. Okay, so that's the assessments. Also, you can do tests as well. You can create different tests like drag and drop. You can do multiple choice. So it's a great way of assessing your learner's ability at the beginning as a baseline, but then also assessing what they've learned through the year and what they need to learn. Okay, so that whole assessment for learning and assessment of learning. Right, and the great thing about it is they'll mark themselves, so that cuts down on your marking time. Okay, the next bit we're going to look at is the Grade Center. Grade Center is located on that left-hand side panel. If you click on that, you can access all the grades from your course. So if we click on assignments, and we'll see what pops up. It's loading, and there we go. Obviously, oh, there's something in there that needs marking. Obviously, this is not being used extensively, but hopefully this will change once lecturers see the benefits of it. And all it is going on, looking at what grades individuals have achieved. Now, this allows you to do certain things, look at different attempts. And I think here there's no grades on here because it's looking at a point scale, and we grade in terms of pass, merit, and distinction. So if there was a way around it, this could be a great tool in just literally having a visual representation of who is achieving, who's not achieving. And the great thing is you can look at their different attempts as well. Okay, so if you're marking online, you can look at attempt 1, how have they changed based on your feedback. This is attempt 2, and it's all stored here on Blackboard, which is great. So no need for hard drives that you're carrying around, no need for loads and loads of paper that can be lost, and this is backed up every night, which is brilliant. The last thing I'm going to look at is the ability to generate reports. Okay, so what you do, again, that left-hand side panel, go down to evaluation, and here you can generate a number of different reports. The one that's really got me going is looking at who is accessing the VLE, what time are they accessing it, how many times are they accessing it, and how does that relate to their attainment. It makes sense if you're supplying top rate grade 1 resources, you're testing their learning all the time, you're giving them feedback on what they need to do to get to the next level. If you're doing that for each student, then why are some students achieving and others aren't? And it could be simply down to that you're being told that they're accessing the materials, but they're not. So if we click on course reports here, you've got a number of different reports that you can actually use. And the one that I would look at in terms of what I previously expressed is just the activity, and just looking at who's doing what and where. Okay, so that's basically my 6 areas for staff and for learners using the VLE. Thank you very much.